I'm Sammy Nunez and I'm here to help. And she goes, Mijo, if you're here to help, please leave. But if you're here because your liberation depends on my participation, come in and have a cup of coffee with me, mijo. Because our people are proud. We survived despite it. We've been under siege for over 30 years in our community. Despite that, still we rise. I am amazed by the resiliency. I have seen the strength of our people. I've seen just the manifestation of the prayers and the intentions of our elders in our community. And I believe that our best days are in front of us. I believe, though, there has to be a double down and emphasis on Latino communities. In particular in places like Stockton. Obviously, if you look at the data, it's going to tell you a really, it's going to be a tragic tale. But if you talk to the people, you will be inspired. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be inspired than expired any day. Many of the policies that we pushed for, we've had groundbreaking policies, and these policies are no more important than in places like Stockton, where a lot of folks have struggled for generations. We have had realignment. Fathers and mothers are coming home. These are not just felons, they're fathers. These are not just prisoners, they're parents. And we are very intentional about the reconciliation, reunification, and strengthening of our families, because we know one thing, that we are only as strong, as resourceful, as our families and our communities. And I believe that we are on the right track in Stockton. I believe that Stockton is going to be one of those cities where later on people are going to be like, I told my son had cancer. At 10 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer. I don't know if you heard this, but don't drink the water in Stockton. I'm sure you guys heard, right, about Stockton's water and the contaminated water. So my son taught me so many things in that process. His strength at 10 years old, when I was weak, the fact that when he was diagnosed, he kind of was really looking, he tells me, he goes, I started crying in front of him, right? I don't know why I started crying all of a sudden. I feel like there was years that I didn't cry, and all of a sudden I started feeling, and I was like telling my son, my son looks at me, he looks up at me, he goes, Daddy, he goes, are you okay? I'm like, he goes, why are you crying? I said, because I'm a little scared right now. He goes, and he looks at me, my 10-year-old little boy, and he says, everything's gonna be okay, Dad. And I said, Mijo, you know what? You're gonna be a sign and a wonder to so many people. And he goes, Dad, what's a wonder? And I said, a wonder is when you go through something so hard, so difficult, so challenging, and you go through it with so much grace, so much strength, that others draw strength from you. And that's what you're doing. You're giving us strength as a family. I think that's what's gonna happen with Stockton. We're going through so much right now. And people later on are gonna be, and when you get through this process, and I told Mijo, I said, so wonder is when you get through this and people sit back and they say, I wonder how we did that. That is the wonder. I believe that that's what's gonna happen, where people are gonna be like, I wonder how they did that. I was talking to somebody, if I may, at the legislature, who worked in media, who now works at a particular foundation whose name I won't say. And I sat down with the sister and I told her, this is what we got going on in Stockton. We're organizing and mobilizing, and we got families, we got children, we got elders. You guys come down, you guys will just be amazed. Don't believe the hype, there's some amazing things going on. And she says, Sammy, she says, I used to work in the media and the legislature, and every time I would get a call, or when we get a call from the media to go cover a story in Stockton, it was usually a really bad story. And you know when we refer to Stockton, did I tell you the story, Masha? She says to me, she says, and this was on Latino Community Foundation, by the way. Let me just make that disclosure real quick. No, because Masha's the LCF has been really good to us, actually, to be honest with you. We've had a really, really great relationship. But anyway, the point is that she says to me, when we used to get a call from Stockton, we used to say, That's the armpit of California. Can you believe that? And I said to her, I sat back and I thought about that for a quick second. And I said, you know what, sister? I said, today I knew I was going to come talk to you. And I needed to come knock on your door and ask you to invest in a place like Stockton. And I got out of the shower, and I had my good suit that day. And I said, because I only had like one at the time. And I think I got it from my tío, as a matter of fact. It wasn't even mine. You know how we do it, right? You just get handed down. It's like, so, you know, and I put on, and I said, before I put on my suit, I put on some deodorant. Because I'll tell you one thing right now. Doesn't matter how cute you look with the suit. If you don't take care of your armpit, you're going to stink. I said, it's time to start taking care of the armpit, right? I said, so, true story. And so I think it's time that we start looking at the most vulnerable places in Stockton, or in California. I think we need to start looking at these places. You probably all have family there. And if you don't know, now you got family there because, you know, we're relatives, right? And so I think it's really important that we not neglect or you know, I think Stockton has been overlooked. I think the Central Valley has been overlooked. And I think we're starting to recognize that all roads to Sacramento, to the halls of power, gotta come up through the 99, through Stockton. Now, I'm telling you right now, there is a urgency in our city. And it is the people that are rising up and actually reclaiming their communities, reclaiming their children from, I mean, we have one of the largest rates of CPS and referrals. We just have a lot of serious issues that we didn't create. So we're starting to actually get more involved in these systems and in these policies and in these, you know, not just giving services. That's beautiful. But about really, really, really achieving transformative change through a culturally rooted justice framework where folks can actually heal, deal, and keep it real, right? And I think that this is really transforming Stockton, and it begins with the families. That is the actual foundational piece. Sorry.
I picture you in the sun, wondering what went wrong, and falling down on your knees, asking for sympathy, and being caught in between all you wish for and all you see, and trying to find anything you can feel that you can believe in. May God's love be with you always. May God's love be with you. I know I would apologize if I could see your eyes, 'cause when you showed me myself, you know, I became someone else.